Alex Paterson, the iconic frontman of The Orb and a key figure in the electronic music world, has never been shy about voicing his opinions. Today, his words have left fans of Pink Floyd's David Gilmour reeling. In a rare and brutally candid interview, Paterson opened up about his fraught history with Gilmour, painting a picture of the legendary guitarist as a figure both brilliant and infuriating. His revelations shed light not only on their personal conflicts, but also on Gilmour's broader history of tension with collaborators, peers, and even himself, a tale of creative triumphs, fiery disagreements, and the personal struggles that often accompanied his genius. Think of it, two pioneers in their respective musical realms, crossing paths at a time when collaboration seemed inevitable. In the early 1990s, Alex Paterson and David Gilmour worked together on a project that blended Gilmour's ethereal guitar tones with Paterson's ambient soundscapes. But what began as a meeting of creative minds quickly turned sour. According to Paterson, Gilmour's perfectionism bordered on authoritarian, leaving little room for experimentation or spontaneity, qualities that define Paterson's approach to music. Picture the studio. Paterson layering hypnotic loops while Gilmour meticulously adjusts every guitar note, questioning every beat, every transition. For Paterson, it felt stifling. Gilmour, used to controlling the soundscapes of Pink Floyd, seemed unwilling to compromise, his vision clashing with Paterson's free-spirited artistry. The tension reached a breaking point during a late-night session, when a disagreement over a single track turned into a heated argument. Paterson stormed out, vowing never to work with Gilmour again. Their collaboration was abandoned, leaving fans to wonder what might have been. But for Paterson, the experience left a bitter taste, and his criticisms of Gilmour reveal a man whose brilliance was often overshadowed by his inability to let go of control. Alex Paterson's candid account of his clashes with David Gilmour is far from an anomaly in the guitarist's storied career. Even within the hallowed halls of Pink Floyd, Gilmour's relationships were fraught with tension. Most famously, his long-standing feud with Roger Waters, what began as a collaboration of unparalleled genius, gradually devolved into one of rock music's most bitter rivalries. A battle of egos that turned their creative partnership into open warfare. By the late 1970s, when Pink Floyd was recording The Wall, the cracks in their partnership were no longer subtle. Picture this, a studio thick with tension, Waters commanding every detail of the album's sprawling narrative, while Gilmour, sidelined, simmered with frustration. For Waters, Gilmour's role seemed secondary, a skilled player whose primary task was to execute Waters' grand vision. But for Gilmour, this was a slap in the face, a dismissal of his contributions to the very sound that had propelled Pink Floyd to superstardom. Their exchanges became increasingly hostile, with Gilmour accusing Waters of being dictatorial, and Waters countering that Gilmour lacked the lyrical depth to shape the band's future. The relationship deteriorated further in the mid-1980s when Waters left the band and sought to dissolve it entirely, claiming that Pink Floyd could not exist without him. Gilmour, defiant, refused to relinquish the name or the legacy they had built together. What followed was a bitter legal battle that played out as much in courtrooms as in the press. Imagine the heartbreak for fans, two icons of rock, whose music had once spoken of unity and transcendence, now airing their grievances in headlines, each jab digging deeper into the scars of their shared history. Gilmour emerged victorious, securing the rights to the band's name. But the price was steep. A fractured friendship, and a band whose legacy was now inextricably tied to its inner turmoil. But Gilmour's conflicts didn't stop with Pink Floyd. Outside the band, his pursuit of artistic perfection often led to clashes with producers and collaborators. One particularly fraught relationship was with engineer Andy Jackson during the recording of The Division Bell in 1994. The album, a critical and commercial success, was a testament to Gilmour's meticulous approach. But for those working alongside him, the process was anything but harmonious. Jackson described the sessions as grueling and soul-crushing, revealing the toll of Gilmour's relentless attention to detail. Picture the dynamic, Gilmour obsessing over every note, every mix, pushing his collaborators to their limits in pursuit of a sound that only he could fully envision. For Gilmour, this was simply the cost of excellence. For those around him, it was exhausting, a constant reminder of the fine line between dedication and obsession. These tensions weren't just professional. They often spilled into personal relationships, leaving behind a trail of alienation that contrasted starkly with the ethereal beauty of his music. The pattern was clear. Gilmour's brilliance, while undeniable, came with a price. Whether within Pink Floyd or beyond, his determination to realize his artistic vision often clashed with the realities of collaboration. It was a double-edged sword. His perfectionism birthed masterpieces, but also created an environment where conflict thrived, a stark contrast to the serenity his music often conveyed. These clashes, far from diminishing his legacy, add depth to it, revealing the human struggle behind the artistry that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Behind the curtain of David Gilmour's illustrious career lies a deeply human story, one of challenges that mirrored the emotional complexity of his music. Picture this: a man whose ethereal guitar solos could transport millions to a place of peace, yet who wrestled with finding that same serenity in his own life. In the 1970s and 1980s, as Pink Floyd reached unprecedented heights, Gilmour faced the mounting pressures of fame and the demands of a family life that often felt secondary to the relentless rhythm of tours, recording sessions and public expectations. His marriage to Ginger Gilmour began as a love story intertwined with the romance of rock stardom, but it slowly unraveled under the weight of his career. Think of the strain, weeks turning into months apart, his time consumed by the pursuit of musical perfection while Ginger managed the home and raised their children. What started as a partnership built on mutual support became increasingly one-sided as Gilmour's drive to maintain and evolve Pink Floyd left little room for the stability his family needed. The cracks deepened with each prolonged absence, the silences growing heavier until the bond that had once seemed unbreakable fractured irreparably. By the early 1990s, the dissolution of their marriage was a painful inevitability. For Gilmour, it was a moment of reckoning. The end of his relationship forced him to confront the sacrifices he had made for his art, the milestones he had missed, the connections that had frayed, and the emotional toll of a life lived in the spotlight. While he eventually found happiness and a renewed sense of purpose with his second wife, Polly, Samson, the scars from his first marriage lingered. They were a reminder of the price he had paid for greatness, a cost measured not just in time but in lost moments that could never be reclaimed. Even within the realm of music, where Gilmour had long been a commanding presence, his relationships were often marked by tension. After Roger Waters' departure from Pink Floyd, Gilmour assumed the role of leader, but this new dynamic was far from harmonious. His relationship with Richard Wright, the band's enigmatic keyboardist, was a testament to the complexities of collaboration and the lingering echoes of past decisions. Wright, who had been unceremoniously sidelined during the Wall sessions in the late 1970s, returned to the band in the 1990s. While their reunion allowed for creative renewal, it also unearthed old wounds. Wright reportedly felt undervalued, his contributions often overshadowed by Gilmour's dominant vision for Pink Floyd's future. Imagine the delicate balance, Gilmour striving to carry the band forward, and Wright seeking recognition for his integral role in their sound. Their dynamic, though professional, was tinged with unspoken grievances, a microcosm of the unresolved tensions that had long defined the band's history. Gilmour's personal struggles were not just about fractured relationships. They were about the challenge of reconciling the demands of a life devoted to music with the emotional complexities of being human. His story is one of contrasts, of a man who gave so much of himself to his art, yet often found himself grappling with what he had to leave behind. These battles, both private and professional, add a poignant depth to the legacy of an artist whose music continues to resonate across generations. As Alex Patterson's revelations ripple through the music world, they cast a sharper, more complex light on David Gilmour's towering legacy. Think of it. A man whose guitar could evoke the vastness of the cosmos, whose melodies could pierce the heart with their aching beauty, yet whose path was marked as much by struggle as by brilliance. For every soaring solo in Comfortably Numb, there was a fractured relationship. For every transcendent album, like The Dark Side of the Moon, there was the toll of perfectionism, both on himself and those around him. Gilmour's story is one of contradictions, a genius who brought light to the world, but often found himself at odds with the shadows of his own nature. His perfectionism was both his gift and his curse, It gave the world some of the most iconic sounds in rock history, but it came at a cost. Picture the countless hours in the studio, each note scrutinized, each take dissected as collaborators, bandmates, and engineers watched their own energy drain under the weight of his relentless standards. For Gilmour, these were the non-negotiable demands of creating timeless music. For others, it was a test of patience, a reminder that genius could be both inspiring and isolating. Patterson's critique only reinforces this duality. The beauty of Gilmour's work is inseparable from the strain it placed on his relationships. And yet, this complexity doesn't tarnish Gilmour's legacy. It deepens it. Imagine the man behind the legend, not as the serene figure his music suggests, but as someone navigating the same vulnerabilities, doubts, and conflicts as anyone else. His triumphs were often hard-won, his artistry shaped as much by struggle as by inspiration. Gilmour wasn't just crafting songs, he was building worlds. And like any architect of such grandeur, his vision sometimes came at the expense of the very foundations holding it up. Patterson's revelations add another brushstroke to the portrait of an artist, whose life and music were never as pristine as they seemed. They remind us that even the most transcendent art is born of tension. The ethereal beauty of Gilmour's guitar tumbler, a reflection not of perfection, but of his humanity. For every luminous note, there was a shadow. For every masterpiece, a sacrifice. It's this interplay of light and dark, of triumph and turmoil, that makes his legacy so profound. David Gilmour's story is not just one of success, it is one of endurance. He didn't merely rise above his struggles. He wove them into the fabric of his art, transforming his battles into music that continues to resonate across generations. His legacy is a testament to the complexities of genius, a reminder that even the brightest stars are shaped by the darkness they've endured. Gilmour's music may have reached for the infinite, but his story remains deeply, inescapably human.